Lights, camera, action. Welcome to the Scrapbook Podcast, Director's Cut. And welcome to the Scrapbook Podcast, Director's Cut. I am Jody Pratt with my fellow host Patrick Wigfall, and I got a story to tell. Alright, so this shit I already named is called A Road Worth Traveling. It's a love story.
Let's go.
And so we have, it takes place in a circus, right? We have Nell Faruza, who's a bearded lady. She's 41. Then we have Buddy Kwalsnic. He's 51, 52. And he's a traveling salesman, right? Well, I'll take it from there, and then I'll piece it together as we go, right? So it starts out with Buddy Kwalsnic walking through a super crowded ass circus, and people are like, going fucking crazy and shit like that. Popcorn's in the air, you smell the kettle corn and shit like that. Kids screaming, strong men lifting heavy ass weight, dropping that shit on the ground. Smell of elephant shit in the air, loud ass noises and shit like that. And he's passing attractions back and forth, and he feels a hunger in his belly, literal hunger. And he digs in his pocket. He was just like, bong, got a whole ass $1. I could buy anything. Hot dogs. Damn, that sounds good as fuck. So he goes over there, stands in the hot dog line, and he stands behind this large lady. I want to say she's like 305. And she's dropped her handkerchief on the ground after he's standing behind her for a while. And she turns around, and this is a bearded woman. And he's not taken aback by anything, by her looks at all. He's just like, hey, you just dropped your handkerchief. Like, here you go. And she's like, oh, thank you. And he's just like, no problem. He's like, might I ask your name? And she's just like, kind of off-put because she's the clown to everybody. You stand and look at her and laugh. People in the line are standing and say, oh, that's a bearded lady. She gets so little respect that she's standing in a fucking hot dog line in the place she works. You know what I'm saying? So her self-esteem is real low, bro. And
she got a full beard. It's
that's beard and mustache too, right? But she's played that game. She's been a bearded woman for about 20 years now for the same circus. So she's they're talking back and forth, trading. You know what I mean? He's doing little dad jokes and shit like that. He has no family of his own. He's a traveling salesman, like I said. He sells sewing machines on the road. This is just a city that he just stopped in. They're traveling as well. And
what time is this?
This is 56. So
this is the same traveling circus as Wolf Smoke.
Exactly. So they're talking back and forth and shit like that, and he's like, she gets up to the line, to the front of the line, and she's like, hey, Robert, I'll 5 hot dogs, and, don't skimp on the relish this time. And he's like, I got you, Nell. And he hooks it up. He was like, you ain't got to wait in line and stuff like that.
Come on the back.
You know what I mean? You got to come to the back. He was just like, she's like, no, I'm just like, I'm just like everybody else. I want to be, you know what I mean? Be served like everybody else. In her eyes.
She's trying to find normalcy.
Exactly. Doesn't say it verbally, but through her eyes she says it. And as she's turning around with these handful of hot dogs, he's like, excuse me, I didn't formally introduce myself. I'm Buddy. I'd like to take you out sometime. And she laughs. Like a jolly laugh. Belly laugh. Yeah. It's like, you're lying. And she just walks past him.
She takes it as like a
shitty
joke.
Yeah. Like, I get it. I got that many times before, right? And then he just like, he gets to the front of the line, and he's just like, she's a hard gal to, to get down, huh? And he's just like, you must not know her. And he's just like, I don't know how to take that, but I am not a extrovert like that. To continue this conversation, she made me talk out of my bounds, talk out of my means. So he goes on, he's smacking this fucking hot dog, got some popcorn, and he sees this big painted picture of what looked like the woman in line. He's like, get the fuck out of here. He steps in between the drapes of the room that they're in, this shabbily put together, while a small crowd's in here, while far to the left, this super long line of this some sort of man that's a beast is over there telling his story. But in this line that he's in, standing in front of this bearded lady, he walks in. It's real bright in there, and she's just sitting there, the woman he met in line. And he's like, that's her. And people are just laughing at her. Kids are throwing popcorn at her and shit like that. The ringleader steps in the line, steps into the room, and just like, hey, here now. You know what I mean? Calm down. Well, she's here for your entertainment, not for your amusement. You know what I'm saying? And he's just like, okay. You know what I'm saying? He calms down the room. The kids leave and shit like that. But he's just like, it's me. And she's just like, very, very uncomfortable. Because now she sees that he actually meant what he said.
And she didn't know how to deal with it.
She didn't know how to deal with that whatsoever. So she's just like, okay, now I'm kind of embarrassed. And he was just like, I'm going to prove to you that I mean what I say and I say what I mean. You know what I mean? Just wait here. He goes out fucking and brings her what he thinks. He's just like, I brought you food. Like, this is what you know what I mean? He's trying to impress a woman off of what he sees at first. You like food right here. You know what I mean? She's even more embarrassed and shit like that. So he's just like, I've embarrassed myself. You know what I mean? The crowd leaves fully after laughing at him. And he steps, he's like, you know what I mean? I'll come back tomorrow. You know what I mean? And I'll bring you something else. You know what I mean? To prove that I'm for you. You know what I'm saying? That I'd love to take you out. And she's like, who would want to go out with somebody like me? And then he's like, don't worry about that shit. Like, so the next day he comes back and brings her 2 bouquets of flowers. And she blushes and laughs it off. And he's like, here, and sets it at her feet. And then he's like, I'll come back tomorrow. Like, even with a more grand gesture. And she's just like, dude, now you're taking it over the line of hurting my feelings. And now you really want to hurt my feelings. So he tells the ringmaster not to let him in. So the next day he comes with 5 bouquets of flowers. And then the ringmaster stops him. And he's just like, hey, like, your joke is not funny, pal. You got to cut it out. You know what I mean? Your fun and games are over here. And he's like, no, I fucking mean that. And then he's kind of like arguing with the nigga. Strong man comes in there. He's just like, hey, little fella.
That was the deepest voice I've ever heard in my life.
Hey, little fella, you got to calm it down. And Buddy's just like, he's like, hey, if you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a big guy, but if you want this fucking work, I'll give it to you, pal. And he's just like, you know what I mean? Do you want to talk to Nell? The strong man says, and then he pats the ringmaster on his shoulder and pushes him out of the way and said, let the man, you know what I mean, show her love. And he goes in there with bouquets of flowers and he's instantly laughed at. And he's like, Nell, I'm here. I want to show you the world. And she's like that, although she's already seen the world. And every continent she's been in, every town she's been in, she's been laughed at. Exactly. So she's just like, all right, you know what I mean? I guess.
This is breaking my heart already. Go ahead.
So he goes in and he gives her the flowers. And then this time she accepts it. Instead of putting it at her feet, he accepts it. She accepts it. And she's like, these are my favorite. They're a bunch of daffodils. Just plucked clean. Him just driving the road. And he saw just a field of daffodils. And he thinks this will be perfect for her while he's on his way back to his hotel. he takes it. Like, he pushes his... She has to ride in the back seat because she's so large.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She gets in the car. She's wearing a hood, kind of a cloak thing. And she goes out with him, right? And then he takes her out on the town. He's like, do you like to dance? Like, we can dance. And he's like jigging in the fucking... You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I mean? In the parking lot. And she's like, I'm going to be made fun of here. I can't even wear shoes. That's how heavy I am. And you want me to be in public with you? And he's a 50-year-old man, silver fox. Nice, totally built, but he's a nerd. I kind of wanted to be like the Kwalsnic looks like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
The main character for that
main character, the dad. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But
dorky, cuz.
Yeah, but silver hair, slick back.
That wasn't handsome though.
Yeah, exactly. Silver hair, slick back, but he's not handsome himself, buddy. But he'll get you to smile. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then he's just like, okay, it doesn't matter. How about I cook you dinner? How about that? Does that sound good? And she's just like,
just pining for her.
Pining, dude. He's just like, I've never met a woman that made me feel this way in me in my 51 years of life.
And she can't believe it because
she can't.
He's gone across the world to be laughed at.
Exactly. So he takes her back to the hotel room. He's like, I'll be right back. He's gone for an hour.
She's like, he left me here.
Yeah, she's like, I feel like somebody's going to come in the room. So somebody's going to harm me in some sort of way. Like, what the... And he comes in there, got bottles of wine and I want to say hot dogs, right? Just like freshly made fucking hot dogs. Because that's how he met her. Mm-hmm. So he wants to bring her back to the time that we talked.
He was behind her when she was like 5 hot dogs and don't skip on the relish.
Yeah, and was just cool with it.
And he's like, they didn't skip on the relish.
Yeah, exactly. I got you exactly how you like them. Now I'm light on the relish, right? She gets a hefty laugh. She's just like, nobody's ever treated me like this. In disbelief, bro. Nobody's ever treated me like this. And he's just like, I want you to know that I want to be that. You know what I mean? Like that person for you. Just so quickly, just so suddenly, he feels this inside of him. And she's just like, okay. And they make love that night. Passionate love. You know what I'm saying? Busting, bro, putting a hammer to that 300-pound ass. Right?
Like you nut and you just keep going and then you nut again.
And then you go down and eat the pussy, bro. Right? And taste your own nut. You just like, man,
I need more water in my diet.
My diet's terrible.
We're doing that in the pussy.
Right? So that night, he takes her back to the circus. You know what I mean? And he takes her back there and he's just like, I've never felt this way before. Like, Nell, I love you. And she's just like, her hefty laugh has turned into like this light, kind of jovial, just she feels on top of the fucking world right now. And then she turns him back around and gives him a kiss goodnight and turns back around, right? And then, so it goes in two different directions, right? He drives and he's driving back to the hotel and he's feeling so fucking happy. He's just like, elated as fuck. He walks to the front.
Pussy on his breath.
Exactly. Walks to the front and they're just like, Mr. Kwalsnic? And then he's just like, yes. And he's like, oh, there's a letter for you. It's his job. You have to change towns now. You're done in this town. You have to leave. Okay. Right? He reads this and gets just dread over his face. Drives back to the circus, but it's closed. The strong man's in the front. He's like, sorry, little guy. Can't let you pass, man. It's after hours. He's just like, fuck. He goes back to the hotel, packs everything up, right? But all this time, she walks back in there, just like twirling it's funny, twirling a hot dog wrapper in her hand, just like humming, just this tune she never hummed before. Just feeling elation inside her body, and you see this then you see Charlie the lion tamer. He's about 38 years old. He's from Italy. He's been in the circus.
A fucking course.
He's been in the circus for about 8 years now. And he's just like, hey, Nell, what are you laughing at? What's got you smiling? And she's just like, nothing. You know what I mean? And she's just like, if I can't put that kind of smile on your face, I would like to know who is. Aggressively. You feel it. And inside this guy, he's a shithead. He's a piece of shit, bro.
He's Italian, of course.
Yeah. and she's just like, nobody. And he walks up on her from behind. He's like, hey, don't walk away from me. Grabs her by the back of the arm. And she's just like, hey. He's just like, hey, look, I'm fucking talking to you. And when I ask you a question, you fucking answer. You hear me? And she flinches with every, you know what I'm saying? Every single word, she's flinching hard as fuck.
She's a big woman.
I want to say he's about 5'8", but his disposition, what he does for a fucking job.
Oh, I fight lions.
He's a lion tamer, tigers, lions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And literally, he was a bear tamer as well, but he killed the bear. He literally overdid. Not literally like fought the motherfucker and killed it, but he emaciated it and beat it to death. So he's on his last straw with the circus, as well as he exudes this type of arrogance about him. Not even the strong men fuck with him.
They're like he's off his rocker.
Yeah. He's a loose fucking cannon.
He'll fuck around and kill you, and this is a shit show as it is.
Exactly. And then
cops are coming to figure this out.
She's like, please, and just shucks him off. He's like, hey, don't fucking pull away from me. Grabs her again, even harder. And the ringmaster just like, hey, Nell, is that you? He's just like, shh, don't fucking say anything. And he just dips off into the night. And her arm is, you know what I mean, kind of sore, soft back arm.
Yeah. I don't do tricep workouts, you feel me?
I don't do any workouts.
It's loose.
Yeah. So she's just like, I'm okay. He's like, that's not Charlie again. Give you a hard time. She's like, no, it's not. Then she goes back to her room and shit like that. And thinking about Buddy puts a smile on her face. Oh man. This is gonna get me out of here. And now it's her duality of where's this gonna go? The cynic in her's come out again. Where's this gonna go? Am I going to leave everything that I know? This safety, somewhat safety, this cushion, to be put out into the world that laughs at me? To be humiliated every single day I walk arm in arm with this old man?
He walked out in public with me.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be seen with me. He happily showed his love.
Absolutely.
Openly. With everybody.
So that night, she falls asleep crying in the duality of the choices she has to make.
Mm-hmm.
She falls asleep, right? Early in the morning, Buddy gets there, pulls up, first showing. He tries to catch her before she gets on stage to give her a letter. I'm leaving town. I promise I'll be back. I'm a traveling salesman. It just goes the way it goes, but I promise you, we can spend these days traveling on the road together. I promise you. We can do this. Just believe that I'll come back. And as soon as you believe, I will be there. I promise you. Just wait. So that's what his letter says. He talks to the strong man. Strong man gets him back into her dressing room. He places the daffodils and the letter. Right?
The strong man?
No, Buddy does.
Okay.
But the strong man takes him back to back to her dressing room. Puts it there, right? And as he's exiting, Charlie's in the cut, watching, and he walks him back in there, and he reads the letter, balls that shit up, and sees the flowers, throws them shits in the trash can afterwards, and goes about his shit, right? Buddy now leaves. He's on the road. He's taking off now, right?
But there's a smile in his back pocket because he thinks that he left on a good note.
Exactly. So she gets off, and she's walking to her back, to her dressing room, and shit like that. And she's just like, you know what I mean? She doesn't see the flowers in the trash. She sees the petals there. And she's like, you know that small kind of, what the fuck? But then you go about your day because the day continues.
Yeah.
It doesn't just stop there. You know what I mean?
Job.
Exactly. So,
mocked for 8 hours a day. I need to go be mocked.
Exactly. So she goes back into her dressing room, and she's sitting there just for hours and hours.
Thinking about Buddy.
And when he's going to come. Every time somebody comes to the door, she's like, yes? Oh.
But Buddy? And it's like, you're on in 5.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, thank you.
Yeah, Robert comes by. He's just like, hey, you haven't come by the tent. You know what I mean? I got you a couple of hot dogs. She's like, oh, I'm not hungry. And he's just like, hey, what's eating you? Because you're not eating. And usually that makes her laugh. A fat joke or two, just from the familiars, will make her laugh, but it didn't this time. And she's like, yeah, you know, I don't know. I'm just not hungry. And she goes and does her shows, and at the end of the night, she's just like, anything to keep her from crying right now. I'm looking somewhere. You know what I mean? And she's like, I just got to go to sleep, bro. The next day will come faster if I just sleep this. You don't go to sleep. Mm-hmm. Right as she's walking into where she sleeps, he was at the door waiting for her. He was at her front door, Charlie. Mm. He's like, hey, Nell. He's like, why are you so blue? She's like, yeah, nothing. And then he's like, you know, not for naught. I saw your little pal Buddy earlier. He said some pretty disgusting things about you. He's like, you're fucking lying. He was like, my hand to God. And she's just like, that doesn't sound like him. He's like, how well do you know him? You don't know him like I know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know me a little bit more than you know him. Yada, yada, yada. She's like, you know what I mean? Invites him in by saying, like, yo, tell me more. Like, what did you see? You know what I mean? Because I asked, we'll call Steven.
Our insecurities are driving the conversation further than it needs to go.
Yes, sir. You know what I mean? I asked Steven, the strongman, earlier. He said he left me something. I don't know. He was just like, see, I didn't want to tell you this, but he left you a pretty nasty note. He said a lot of hateful things in there. She was like, you're lying. He's like, my hand to God. Again. She starts to weep. He consoles her. She pushes him off. But he comes on stronger, hard kiss. Pushes him off again. She tries to scream. He pushes his hand over her mouth. And just like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Now, I know you didn't let him have something that I wanted. And she's streaming tears, bro. Streaming. And she just like shakes her head, no. He's like, let me smell you. And he just takes this deep whiff all over her body. He's like, I can smell that motherfucker on you. This deep, dark shit. And he rapes her that night. After he was done, he leaves. Leaves her door wide open and shit like that. She doesn't even have the strength to get up to close the door. Like throughout the night, a midget 1010 comes and checks on her. And you know, it's funny, 1010, his brother's Ren.
Don't ever say
his brother's Ren.
A midget came to check
and
on her.
And they're juggling midgets. Ren 1010. But yeah, so
you're a son of a bitch.
So he closes the door because he's a bit of Charlie's henchman. You know what I mean?
That was good. It's hitting me now. That nigga said Tintin and the other one's Rin. You son of a bitch.
So the next day happens, and the next day, and all the while, Buddy is off on the road trying to get back to the town that they're in, right? And then now he finally makes it back. She's not there. They're fucking traveling circus. So he tries to.
That's so stupid. How did you come up with that so fast?
It's in my notes, bro. I wrote it like.
It's content. And there's another thing named Chris. It's so dumb.
Hey, look.
Oh.
Right in the middle.
Oh shit, you got me tearing up. That's so stupid and so smart. Good on you, bro.
You get me, man. Okay, so and in these times he's trying to figure out where she's at. Right?
All right.
So he goes down to the local fucking the state. This nigga's tearing up. the state office, and he's like, there's a local circus that comes to town. Where do they go? And he's just like, bureaucracy. So he goes down different channels to just get a pamphlet to see where they're going. Mm-hmm. And he does, right? And at the same time, he's getting pressure to get the fuck back on the road and sell what you need to sell, buddy, right? Mm-hmm. And he has to go back on the road, but he knows where she's going. And between this date and this date, she should be about here. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to track her down. And all the while, Nell is going back, I want to say maybe 2-3 times a week, she's getting raped by Charlie.
Oh, so it's like a
consistent thing now. Right? So, and this time, there's another character. I don't have a name. You can name him right now. He's the fortune teller. Malachi, the fortune teller. He's sitting there. He's all brown and shit like that.
All brown.
But he is, in real life, he's a physician. And through
that means like a doctor?
Yeah. Okay. Through his ruse, he's just a doctor. He can tell the future of your health because he's a fucking physician.
Diabetes.
Exactly. He was like, what kind of food do you eat? And then, you know what I mean? Through the 9 wonders of the world, this is Malachi, the fortune teller. And he can tell your future through this shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're going to have hard troubles. Yeah, and then because your heart's going to stop from you eating all that goddamn steak.
You're eating a fucking funnel cake.
Exactly. So he's really, as well as the ruse of the...
He's a doctor behind the scenes.
Exactly, for the whole entire circus.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I get where you're going.
So he tells Nell goes in for a checkup because he likes to check up on her often because she's a really big girl. She's in her later age. He doesn't want her to have a heart attack or anything like that.
And he knows how she eats.
Exactly. But she hasn't been eating as much, right? And what she has been eating,
raped often, definitely tends to pull back your
hunger, right?
Yeah.
So he's asking her a few questions and shit like that. And he's like, so when's the last time, you know what I mean, you had your cycle and shit like that? She's like, it's been a few months or stuff like that. But it's normal because bigger girls often they stop just having a period sometimes if they're just hella unhealthy. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, well, you should, by the way that, you know what I mean, your weight is the ringmaster's been telling me you're a bit underweight from the ringmaster standards, you know what I mean? And it seems like you're pregnant right about now. It looks like you're about 4 months pregnant or so. And she's like, get the fuck out of here. In her terms. So all this dialogue and shit like that would be fucking 50s terms. By the way, I'm just letting you know. I'm just talking the way Yeah. He's like, you're pulling my leg. And he's like, no, I'm not. Women, you know what I mean? It's not rare that women, would have babies later on if they're sexually active. And there's dread in her chest.
And she's like, this is not a baby by choice.
Exactly. What she feels.
Oh, fuck.
Right? And then she just like, you must not tell anybody, Malachi. And he's like, all right, my Scout's honor. I swear to God, I won't.
And to God.
And he was just like, no, don't say that. No, literally. No, she says, don't swear to God. And he was just like, I put that on my, you know what I mean? My oath that I'll keep that to myself. He was like, okay. All right.
Our business has never been on the front.
Exactly. So you have nothing to worry about. She said, don't tell anybody, Malachi. Deep into her eyes, she just starts to well up. And he's like, okay, I promise.
Are you good?
And she's just like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about that.
This isn't just like you know that you can talk to me. We've known each other for years. If there's anything, cut me off.
Mm-hmm. No.
But I'm saying that's when you.
Oh yeah, anything, and she just like raises her hand and just walks out of the room, right? And they're in another town. They're like 5 states over from where they originally were, where she met Buddy.
Moving.
Right? And now that she finds out she's pregnant, she wants to find Buddy now. She's making phone calls, and she remembers, he sells sewing machines. Right.
Company name. Show and tell.
Show and tell. Yes. Show and Tell Incorporated. And just like operator. And then just like, can you give me a Show and Tell Incorporated? She's like,
Show and Tell.
Show and Tell Incorporated. Yeah, I got you. And she connects her. She's like, oh shit. And she's like, Show and Tell Incorporated. And she's like, I'm looking for a traveling salesman. His name is Buddy Kwalsnic? He's like, yes, Kwalsnic. He's like, that's our, you know what I mean, their number one salesman. Do you have any sort of qualm or anything like that? Has he done anything to... She's like, no. I would love to buy more just directly from him.
He'll be in Manchester or Wisconsin next week.
Yeah, and then she finds herself in Illinois. You know what I'm saying?
In Wisconsin?
It's near, right?
I don't know, man. What Midwest states at all?
It's cool. It's near. She's like, okay, like that's fine. You know what city? And she's just like, you know what I mean?
They gave out all the information back in the day.
Yeah. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, if you want to buy from our shit, yes, please, any way possible.
I'll give you this nigga's like a picture of him if you want.
He'll be staying in. He should be making it to Wisconsin.
Because he checks in with us for his update on what he sold.
Yeah, and he does it daily, so he's a very proper guy. I'm not surprised.
Money.
Exactly, I'm not surprised he sold you on many things. He's just like, yeah, you can say that, right? So she goes and sends a letter to the hotel that he's supposed to be at while she's in Illinois, right? Mm-hmm. And she says, like, buddy, like, I haven't seen you in 6 months now, and I would love to see you. You know what I mean? Yours truly, Nell. Kiss at the end of it. XOXO. He gets to the hotel about 2 days after the letter got there, and it's the last day that circus is in Illinois. And if it's too far away for you guys, and you're just like, that's not even close, just say a fucking town over from where he's at. Okay? Don't even... It's
the fucking back in the day.
Yeah, it's 56, bro. So he just like...
got a note from somebody, and that was 48 days from when they sent it.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't like a
2-day thing like now.
Joseph real quick.
Yeah.
Nah.
So he's just like, okay. And it's second to the last day of the circus being in that area. Mm-hmm. So Buddy gets there, drops his fucking luggage in the lobby, heads right the fuck there, right? He's driving there and shit like that. So let's change. That's it was 6 months I said to 9 months. So she's about due, right?
Okay.
So he rushes there and shit like that, and he sees and it's midday, right? He sees the strongman Steve there, and he's just like, "Hey, don't I know you?"
Him?
That's what I'm saying.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't I know you? And he just like, yeah, big guy. Pass him on the chest, and he's just like making his way with his fucking hand full of just dried ass daffodils. You know what I mean? And he's just like making his way over there. And let's change it from midday to about the end of the day.
Yeah, it's the clocking off time.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just like, before Steve could stop him, he's just like, "Hey, big guy." He's like, "Hey, I can't let." Fuck it, bro. You know what I mean? You're gonna make Nell smile because she hasn't been smiling for the last almost a year now. Right? He goes in back there, and he just like, he sees the ringleader. He's like, "Nell, like where?" Like from far away. He points left, right, and then the ringleader takes a big ass drag of his cigar as he's standing by this damn near 7 foot tall creature into the dark. He sees his hollow eyes, and he's just like, and he takes a big, yep, yes he is, yes it is. He takes a big, I love you, dog. He takes a big puff, and these eyes glare at him, and he's like, ugh. You know what I mean?
Like, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you know what I mean? He dips off to the left where the ringleader posted him.
Ain't a killer no more.
Yeah. And he goes off, and then he sees the big tent, Nell's picture. And he's just like, "My queen. Like, fuck yeah. It took me this long to get to you, and I'm sorry." Like, he's
How
like...
is he emotionally? Is he
elated.
Out of breath?
He's elated.
Is he kind of crying? Is he like... His voice is growing. Like, what's happening?
He's extremely elated. He's jittering how excited he is. You know what I mean?
A boy on Christmas morning.
Exactly. And he's just like, he like busts into her fucking her house, her little setup she has. Mm-hmm. She's not there. And he's just like, Nell, right? And he exits out, and then you see he passes up Tintin, and Tintin is sitting there just like eating a can of beans or some shit like that, and he's sitting right by.
Just walks over him because
he sits right by Charlie. Right, he's sitting right by Charlie. Okay. Tintin is, and Charlie's just like, he kind of gives him a glare as he's like, damn near floating past everybody. He's trying to find him, and he goes to different tents trying to find her and shit like that. And you see Charlie sinister, what was the word? In a sinister manner, go into the shadows, right?
Yeah.
And then he comes out from the shadows after Buddy just hitting just every corner possible, trying to find Nell. Where the fuck is she at? And then Charlie just like, "Oh, she's in the stadium, waiting for you, pal." And he's just like, "Thanks, bud." And like pats him on the shoulder.
Old school shit. "Thanks, buddy."
Yeah. "Thanks, buddy." And he's just like, "Yeah, no problem, pal." And then he passed him up, right? And he goes in. So for Charlie's setup, it's like a Roman Colosseum, right? But smaller.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a big dip in the middle. It's an arena.
Viewing from
the higher up.
Yeah.
Just so you know what I mean.
A circus, nigga.
Exactly. So it's people walk up and they can view inside just high enough that the line doesn't get the fuck up there. You know what I mean? Then he does his thing down there. But he sees the entrance to the lower level in the pit is open, right? Mm-hmm. He doesn't make any mind of it, and he's walking through this shit, and it's very ominous. It's dark, and he's like, "Nell," and then he stands there. He's staring into the pit, just like losing concentration, just for a little bit, just like, where can I go next? What the fuck? And then out from behind him, Charlie comes. He's trying to fight with this nigga. Like immediately, he's like, you can't have her. He's like, what in the fuck? Buddy says, what in the fuck are you talking about? And then he's just like, no, she's mine. Pow! Hits him right across the face. Glasses fly right the fuck off into the pit. And then he's just like, oh,
my
nigga.
Glasses.
I can't see a thing with my glasses. And then immediately he's just like, all right, I'm snapping right back into anything that I know. He starts to scratch at this nigga's eyes, headbutts this nigga Charlie, and now they're really fucking scrapping, right? And old school punch to the belly, fucking, you know what I'm saying? Tearing out this nigga's shirt, does a judo flip, you know what I mean?
Nipples are red as shit.
And from inside the pit, you hear growls.
He's a lion tamer.
And then he's just like, then you hear Charlie's getting mixed now.
Yeah, he's losing.
But yeah, Buddy's just like, bro, my fucking glasses, bro. And you just start to hit this nigga all in the belly. And then he's just like, that's his sign to get to call the lions toward him. 2 lionesses come out because that's feeding time. And then they're doing circles around each other, kind of nipping at each other's legs and shit like that. And then he's just like,
kind of emaciated.
Exactly. Just
like how
just
the
enough.
Bears were
just how the bear were, you know what I mean? And he just recently hurt the fuck out of this tiger that he had as well, but it's healing now. So
that's adulation. I love this.
So he has a tiger. I mean, the 2 lions in there, just whipping around, just ready for hunger. You know what I'm saying? Ready to be fed.
But they know their line.
Exactly.
They know the line of where they can't go past.
Exactly.
This nigga will kill you. So
they're in it, just doing circles around each other, and then he like looks over, and then Buddy notices them too. And he draws back his fist. He's just like, "Look, pal, I don't know what the fuck you want, but you know what I mean. This doesn't have to go where the fuck you think it's going to go." And he's just like being choked. He's like, Charlie's like, fuck you. And he's like, oh, I gotta fucking kill you, dog. Buddy winds back and a punch that he never does. Whips all the way back. Usually he does the 50s shit, but he's confined to his area. He knows where to, he'll fire at your ass. But he winds up to finish it because if it goes any further, somebody's going to die. I don't want to kill you.
There's literally things waiting to eat me if I lose this match.
Exactly. So he winds up a punch that's not in his character, misses that motherfucker. Overextends, almost falls over into the pit just because of that. Charlie just like got him, grabs him by the waist like grabs him by the waist and tries to heave him over, right? And then you hear do 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 do, and it's now boom.
Hold that
shit. Pushes him over, but pushes Charlie over, and he head over heels, and as well as Buddy falls over as well, and he's grabbing on to the fucking edge of the pit, and he's just like and now Charlie's lost his grip on Buddy, right? And he's fucking fully fallen on his neck, right? And he's just like, oh, what the fuck? Dazed as a motherfucker. Buddy's just like, no, I love you, Nell. I just wanted to tell you that and she's just like, you know what I mean? Just, shut up for a fucking second. But like, I gotta tell you something. And then she pulls him up, grabs him by his britches, pulls that nigga up like real easy. You know what I mean? And he's like, pulls a wedgie out of his dick. Like, I gotta tell you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these months not with, hey. Like, and she's like, you can tell. You know how some big girls, you can't tell they're pregnant, but you can tell she's with child. And she's like, he doesn't have children himself. He chose the road. You know what I mean? Buddy did. And he's just like, as this full emotion of love and God, like, this is the most amazing thing. Like, she's standing in a puddle of water now. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, like, what the fuck is going on? All at the same time, you hear, ah, 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 ah. This nigga, Charlie, being just torn apart by the lines in which he fucking chose to abuse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's just being torn the fuck up, and it gets people's attention. He screams, just horrific screams, because he's fighting them off. At the same time, his I want to say his billy club is just fucking out of reach. He's like, why didn't I use it on Buddy? Why the fuck did I? You know what I'm saying? Like, just these, I'm going to use emotion to fight kind of thing, threw him off his whole shit in his abusive way, right? So he's being eaten alive and shit like that. She's now in labor and shit like that. And through that night, she's like slowly trying to tell this nigga like Charlie, he, you know, push himself on me. And like, she's like, I don't like that. I know.
She's remorseful for something that she didn't ask
that
for.
She couldn't control. You know what I'm saying?
She's telling him sorry, and he's like, for what?
Yeah, you couldn't help that. It's not your fault. And it's just like, that makes her weep even more because
you never responded to my messages, or like my letters. And she's like, what letters?
He's like, I was telling you, like, that I was leaving for this. I mean, she's weeping even more because she now knows that it was Charlie that did all this shit.
Yep.
And what if this child...
I like to hear the bones cracking. Like they're eating him.
Yeah.
The entirety of the end of it is that his reality is now like blended into the birth of something.
Exactly. So she's now like trying to tell this nigga over, pushing and shit like that. We're gonna cut to the strong man like lifting this broad up, taking her into the stables and shit like that.
With heat!
Yeah, exactly. Lifts her up and shit like that. And the Malachi is there. He's like, you know what I mean? She gives birth to this boy, this baby boy, with just streaking, vibrant red hair. You know what I'm saying? And Buddy's just like, he looks just like me. Buddy had red hair before all his gray set in.
And we never hear that the entire movie.
And you don't see until he like shows a picture of him when he's like younger, and he's just his bright ass red hair. And he's sitting there just cheesing, and you see that the baby got a button nose just like he used to. And he's like,
you know, there's no way the baby touches his finger, and he's like,
and between them, they just share that between the two of them, and they're just like,
because love can come out of destruction.
Exactly. And she was like, I thought it was this guy's. Honestly, how many times he brutalized me? It was Buddy's the entire time. Buddy was a redhead.
You handsome son of a bitch. I gotta step it up.
You know what I'm saying?
God damn, that's good.
And then I wanted to end with them just
fucking,
just together, just loving each other.
That's beautiful. And with the circus around them.
Yeah, the circus around them. The strongman's in there. The hollow eyes in the dark.
He's like laughing, and he's like a joyous.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And the ringleader's just like, how are we going to make money off this? You know what I mean? But everybody's just like, calm down, dude. Calm down. Robert's there with hot dogs. You know what I mean? And he's just like,
they're on the house tonight.
And everybody's like, and then Rin Tin Tin's there.
And she's just real deal crying in his arms. And he's crying with her because, God, that's good, Joe.
Yeah. And they share a kiss and then just fades to black off of that.
God, that's good. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
That was a good one.
I appreciate that. That was last night, baby. Let's go. All right. Thank you. Would you change anything about that?
The ending sequence, pulling back to show the name of the circus, so we can expand upon the circus.
Oh yeah, Wolf Smoke. Yeah.
Because we've got two people.
Yeah.
Let's make a whole circus.
Yeah. Fuck it. Okay, I like that. I don't remember the name of the circus.
I don't think we made a name for Wolf Smoke.
Yeah. But yeah, this story's called a Road Worth Traveling. And yeah.
That was nice. That was nice.
Yeah, you like that
Very,
shit, bro?
very. Give me a second to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing it for the first time as well.
Yeah, I'm saying it for the first time.
Yeah. I like the depth of figuring out that maybe what she thought that she felt wasn't real.
Yeah.
And then having to rest on her reality of being,
R-worded
all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever he just felt to do that, like, it was okay.
Yeah.
And that she has to sit in that reality. But her reality's been augmented by this cunt who is doing this to her because there is a man that loved her to death.
Yeah.
Looking for her.
So quickly.
And that's love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, looking past that superficial layer and being like, hey, I like you.
Yeah. For who you are.
Not what you look like.
Yeah.
I love what you look like, but I love you.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I dig it. I like the direction you went with not the whole circus being in on it.
Yeah. Just a few characters.
Yeah, but like as far as like nobody knew that she was being taken advantage
Yeah,
of.
Nobody.
The strong man would have done something.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Strong man would have crushed his fucking neck.
Exactly.
Although he was a bit timid from him, but what's wrong is wrong.
Yeah, what's wrong is wrong, and there is a line in the sand, even for people that they call freaks.
Yeah.
And had other people found out about this, he would have been dead.
Yeah.
But she kept it close to the vest because she felt like she
Shame.
was in the wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah,
especially in that time era, it was like the woman.
Yeah.
It's what you're wearing.
She threw herself. I'm like, I have a beard.
Yeah.
He just didn't want me to be happy.
Yeah.
And that's that. Him being killed by the lions that he was torturing.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Good on you, bruv.
Yeah, I appreciate
that. And
that.
I'm not
bro.
even fucking English.
Yeah.
But good on you, bruv.
Appreciate that, bro.
Very nice. Very nice. Y'all got to step it up. Y'all got to step it up because Joe's stepping it up. Fuck, that was good.
I appreciate it, man. For real. This is your host, Jody Pratt, with my fellow host, Patrick Wigfall. This is Director's Cut, a road worth traveling. We are at the Scrapbook Podcast everywhere.
Give this nigga the Academy.
The Scrapbook Podcast at gmail.com. If you guys want to make these movies, baby, talk to your boys.
Holla at your boy.
Yeah.
We can do it for,
Yeah.
We can do it.
And also short stories coming out soon from both Jody and Patrick.
Yes.
We're going to start releasing short stories and, become authors and shit. But we love you. Don't stop being creative. Peace.